Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Tech News this week. Now, everything was getting digitized before, and after COVID, everything is getting rapidly digitized, and all operations are going online. So, why should India's credit system be any different, and why should it be left behind? The Reserve Bank of India's Account Aggregator framework went live this week. So, what is this? What is this account aggregator? Now, consumers can consolidate all their financial data into a single portal for smoother overall transactions. That means banks and various financial institutions and financial startups, they'll all be on one platform, and it'll be easier for you or even say SMBs and all to take loans, to get their credit scores, and to operate. So it's just been launched, and the India's GST network, 8 banks, 4 NBFCs have already said that they are joining the platform. And a lot of course, ultimately, you will want as many players as you can for the system to be effective. And if that happens, it will strengthen India's entire leading ecosystem and democratize the way credit is done in India. Because, uh, even like say till 10 years back, most of India was out of the credit system. So people in villages, people who didn't have a bank account. So one now you are having almost thanks to the Jan Dhan Yojana, everyone has a bank account. Then you have bank transfers, and then of course things like a smartphone, Geo, Paytm, UPI. Everyone is slowly coming under the online money net. So obviously now everyone should come under the credit net. If there is a loan to be had, if there is anything credit to be taken, it should be available to every citizen of India. That is what one commentator has already said, that what UPI did for online payments in India, the RBI's account aggregation will do for the overall credit system of the country. Of course, tax authorities have to come, insurers have to come, pension funds have to come, financial startups have to come. I mean, even if something like Amazon could also be on this platform, even telecom operators, and you could even have the healthcare system. So, I mean, one day it could be a huge network, a huge credit network, and this will really be consumer for convenient for the consumer and SMBs. Of course, we have to see how this is rolled out, and privacy issues will have to be looked into. Now, another theme has been, Google and Facebook and their app stores, right? So they like charge a 30% cut. It is very difficult for the new marginal players to make themselves felt in the system and to make money. So app makers have already been fighting over the tech giants and the amount of money they are paying. And also there are other restrictions. It's not just about them taking a cut. It's about how they operate, what they allow the developers to do. So now the South Korean parliament has passed a law requiring tech giants to give third party payments in their app stores. This means that when you pay, it's not only through the Google or a Facebook network or Apple network, whatever it is, they must open their app stores to competing payment systems in a move to check restrictive payment options. And though they haven't mentioned it, but Google and Apple are two of the major targets of this bill. Of course, it's not easy as this. This is a highly complicated issue. So, on the face of it, it will favor the smaller app store players, but the US may term this as discrimination and want to take action against them. On the other hand, other countries could now be encouraged to take on tech giants over their app store monopolies in a similar manner. In fact, something like this is already happening in India. A lot of Indian players are trying to challenge the app stores network. Last year Paytm and many other startups had taken this on. So now a complaint has been filed into the Competition Commission of India, and they have said that the 30% commission is not at all fair. So now the Competition Commission of India will look at this in app payment rules. So and they're facing problems all over. Like Apple has reached a settlement in Japan where they will allow developers to link to their external websites. So all these small things were not allowed till now. Apple and Google had a stranglehold over their app store. But governments are entering the picture and trying to have a level playing field. Now, another thing that has happened after COVID is a lot of action is being happening on, drones, driverless cars, or even driverless car service called robo taxis. I mean, for 5, 10 years, you had been hearing the theoretical aspects of it, but the services have already been rolled out in US, where you have robo taxis, you have automated delivery vehicles. So now it appears that NASA is testing electric flying cars for a company called Joby Aviation. They are called EVTOLs, EVTOL, or all electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. Now, this will be interesting. Now, if you remember, sometime back, Uber Elevate was also launched for something similar, but Joby has already acquired that. Joby has also received funding from Toyota. And on the other hand, such initiatives continue. Hyundai has come out with a robotaxi for Lyft. So that also they are hoping to roll that out in the next year or the next. So this Hyundai robotaxi, one of the new technologies is boasts of is lidar. So I don't know if you have heard of lidar. Like you have radar, you have lidar, which is light detection and ranging. So that is one of the methodologies which help these vehicles to navigate on traffic. And also, of course, machine learning. Machine learning will be a continuous process. Without that, it will be very difficult to have driverless cars. Now, in other news, it's been announced that Windows 11 will be available on October 5th. Then IDC says that 1.37 billion smartphones will be shipped in 2021, out of which 570 million will be 5G ready. So 5G is reaching a threshold. You'll have half a billion phones. Of course, whether 5G services are there or not, at least they will be 5G enabled. Telegram has also crossed 1 billion downloads. So, of course, they don't have 1 billion users yet, but at least they have done 1 billion downloads. So, let's see how far they can go. Interestingly, Facebook is further experimenting in certain countries on how to put less political content in their feed. The company had first started testing this in February. So it's quite interesting because partisan political content which triggers you, that is good for their views. The more you get triggered on social media, the more there is politics, the more there is partisanship, the more the engagement increases. But of course, this is not a healthy thing. Social media giants talk of having less politics. Let's see whether Facebook can pull this off. And of course, another thing is crypto payments. So, central banks of South Africa, Australia, Malaysia, and Singapore are looking at the feasibility of cross border crypto payments. Now, that's another thing. I mean, whether Bitcoin coin goes up or down, or Bitcoin stays or not, cryptocurrency is here to stay. Even the Indian government is looking into the issue of cryptocurrency. There are recent reports that they're going to treat it like a commodity. Now, again, it's not as simple as that. Let's see. The government has been dallying on cryptocurrency, and when the final bill comes out, then we'll know how good or bad it is. Finally, this is good news for ABBA fans. If you remember, ABBA, the popular Swedish pop group, had retired around 40 years ago, and since then, people have been trying for reunions, but it hasn't been happening. Well, now something is finally happening on that front. They have released 2 new songs on Spotify, YouTube, and other platforms. But more interestingly, they have decided to perform virtually in pop concerts. So they wore motion capture suits to facilitate the whole experience of them performing with virtual avatars. This is how they look back in the early 1980s. Now, if you look at the photo of 4 of them in those virtual suits, so I mean, already the memes are flooding the market. So obviously, if you are flooded by memes, you have captured the attention of the internet, and probably the comeback conference could be a big success. So, on that note, I'd like to say goodbye and everyone have a great weekend. Bye.